Hello Tom, this is Pedro at Large and I'm replying to your piece on fussiness. What am I fussy about? Well, probably a lot more than I'd care to confess. But one thing I am fussy about is tea and coffee. I like English breakfast tea, I like Darjeeling, and I like Ceylon tea. I always have my tea black, never with milk and never with sugar. Which always seems to surprise people, but in the continent of Europe I guess most people will have tea certainly without milk, although in England most people will have tea with milk. The reason for that is quite interesting, but unless anybody asks me I won't tell you. But fussiness. This is my breakfast mug. I got it from a promotion at an exhibition I went to, and it's promotion of a store that's been around in England for very many years, Boots the Chemist. But I don't know why, it's china. When you hold it up to the light you can actually see through it, and it's fine bone china made in Staffordshire Potteries in England. And I like it. It's large, which is good for the first morning's cup of tea. And I always have my first cup of tea in the morning in this mug, except when I'm in a hurry. And if I've got to go out early in the morning and then the tea stays warm in this cup for a long time, I use this mug. Now this is a Denby mug, and normally I would only drink coffee out of a mug like this, but as I said, in emergencies, because of its shape, because it's wider at the top than at the bottom, I will use this to drink tea in, because the tea cools down quickly. So that's the reason I use it. I've got two others of these mugs. One is blue on the outside and one is this sort of raspberry colour on the outside, but I only use the green one to drink tea. Not sure why. I think it's just drinking out of blue doesn't seem right for tea, solid blue that is, and the same with the raspberry colour. Coffee. I love coffee. My favourite coffee is Colombian coffee, strength 3. The particular one I use is a fair trade coffee that you can get in England, and it's marketed by a company called Percol. But this mug I use in the mornings, this light blue one. This dark blue mug I use in the evenings. So we have light blue for day, dark blue for night. I think the association there is fairly clear, to do with the sky, to do with sunshine, to do with night time. These are not the only mugs I've got, but I have to say that the mugs that I use, very few of them are crossover mugs. Now to show you just how fussy you can get, I've got one crossover mug with me. Now this crossover mug, this I bought specifically, it's another Denby mug, and I bought it specifically to drink hot chocolate out of. And for that purpose it's very good. But amazingly I also drink out of this china tea, green tea. And those are the two, so it's my crossover mug. And why am I like this? I don't know. I think tea does taste better out of china, although having said that, I'm quite happy with the china tea I drink out of this pot mug. But that's the wisdom, that you have tea out of china, and that has been so since the 18th century in England. And I suppose because coffee is a thicker drink than tea, again, I always drink my coffee black, no milk in it whatsoever. But nonetheless, there are always more suspended solids in coffee because of the nature of the drink and the way it's derived from the coffee bean than there are in tea leaves, which of course you're straining the tea leaves out of the drink. And the only tea bags that I use on a regular basis are Lipton's Yellow Label, which I can't buy in England. I can only buy those when I go abroad. And again, for the green tea that I have, I buy again a fair trade green tea. So there we have it, fussiness. But do you know, I think that it's all part of building up little rituals in our life, and I think the significance of rituals in our lives is that they make us feel reassured, that despite all the things that go on around us that are changing, the events that come to surprise us, sometimes good surprises, sometimes bad surprises, that nonetheless the little rituals we build into our daily lives are like a compass point. We know where we are when we're doing it. You know, the world may be collapsing around us, but whilst I'm drinking my tea out of this mug, everything's okay. I think that's probably the reason behind it. As to the word fussiness, well, Tom, I couldn't find any derivation. The Oxford English Dictionary says it's from the early 18th century and is Anglo-Irish in its derivation. I just wondered myself if the very word fussy, fussiness, is almost describing the way people are. Well, oh, don't touch that there, you know, don't do this, no, I must have it this way. It's sort of a fussiness. It's like replicating the sounds or the actions that people make when they are being fussy. But I don't necessarily think that fussiness is always a bad thing. As I say, I think that if it's establishing a little tradition in your life which helps you get to grips with the day, like starting the day using a particular mug for your tea, or you know, whatever, using a particular pen to write with. A few years ago, I think it was the Sunday Times did a survey amongst writers, famous writers, successful writers, that means writers who've been published significantly, what they actually use to write with. Now I think about half of them actually use computers or word processors of one sort or another. But the other half, yes, there were some who, very eminent writers who the first draft was always written in a pencil, or with a fountain pen, or with a ballpoint pen, or on lined paper, or on blank paper. And they were fussy about the way they approached for writing. And I think that in itself is interesting, because the way we do things can unlock the creative process in our thinking, and that also can help us face up to situations in life and overcome them. So being fussy all the time is probably sad, but being fussy over some things may well be a positive contribution to the lifestyle that we wish to follow. That is all I have to say on fussiness, Tom. Thank you for raising the topic, and I look forward to seeing more responses from others on this. Goodbye.